We are in Jeremiah chapter 44. We left off at 43. 44 is, the title is Disaster Because of Idolatry. I don't always have the title before I begin the scriptures, but this time I do. The word came to Jeremiah concerning all the Jews living in Lower Egypt and Megiddo, Taphanes, and Memphis, and Upper Egypt. It's not Memphis, Tennessee. Don't get it mixed up here. It's Memphis and Upper Egypt here. And this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says. You saw the great disaster I brought on Jerusalem and all the towns of Judah. Today they lie deserted and in ruins because of the evil they have done. They provoke me to anger by burning incense and by worshiping other gods that neither they nor you nor your fathers ever knew. And again I sent my servant the prophets, who said, do not do this detestable thing that I hate. But they did not listen or pay attention. They did not turn from their wickedness or stop burning incense to other gods. That's one thing God really hates, and He gets pissed off when we're sitting there burning our incense to a statue, like, any statues. It could be a statue of Buddha or Allah or or even a saint of God, or He doesn't like it. He says He hates it here. Therefore my fierce anger was poured out, rage against the towns of gods. Therefore my fierce anger was poured out, rage against the towns of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem, and made them desolate ruins they are today. And in a sense, God doesn't want competition when it comes down to who the real God is. He doesn't want no competition. He said, I shouldn't have to compete with you. Even your idols. An idol can be anything. It don't have to be a statue. It can be your money. It can be your house. It can be your car. It can be whatever. It can be your gold, your silver. It even can be, anything. He doesn't want no competition. That's what he's saying here. If you put anything above God, that is an idol. It doesn't have to be a golden calf. It can be anything. Not to say you shouldn't have golden things. It's okay to have golden things. Just don't worship it. That's what he's trying to say here. Some of you have some expensive pieces of jewelry. I've seen that. Just don't worship your diamonds, okay? Don't worship it. Just let it be. Yeah, it's cool, whatever, but I ain't gonna let this be above my God here. Anyhow, moving on. You will destroy yourselves and make yourselves an object of cursing and a reproach among all the nations on earth. Have you forgotten the wickedness committed by your fathers and by the kings and queens of Judah, and the wickedness committed by you and your wives and the land of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem? To this day they have not humbled themselves or shown reverence, nor they have followed my law and the decrees I set before you and your fathers. Therefore, this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says. I am determined to bring disaster on you and to destroy all Judah. I will take away the remnant of Judah who are determined to go to Egypt to settle there. They will all perish in Egypt. They will fall by the sword or die from famine. From the least to the greatest, they will die by the sword or famine. they'll become an object of cursing and horror and condemnation and reproach. I will punish those who live in Egypt with the sword, famine, and plague. As I punished Jerusalem, none of the remnant of Judah who had gone to live in Egypt will escape or survive to return to the land of Judah, to which they long to return and live. None will return except a few fugitives. Wow. Speaking of fugitives, where is Ishmael at? We still haven't read about Ishmael. We're trying to find out what happened to Ishmael here. Remember Ishmael in the back couple chapters, he murdered like 6 or 7 people, 8 people. He's on the run now from Korea's men. Korea has sent some contractors to help Israel to find Ishmael, but Ishmael can nowhere to be found here. And all the men who knew their wives were burning incense to their other gods, along with all the women who were present, a large assembly, and all the people living in Lower and Upper Egypt, said to Jeremiah, "We will not listen." People living in Lower and Upper Egypt said to Jeremiah, "We will not listen to the message you have spoken to us in the name of the Lord. We will certainly do everything we said we would. We will burn incense to the Queen of Heaven and pour out drink offerings to her, just as we, our fathers, our kings, and our officials did in the towns of Judah." Queen of Heaven, that's another god that they worship besides the golden calf here. That's the name of their god. It's called the Queen of Heaven. This is what they're burning incense to and worshipping drink offerings to her. We had nothing, had been perishing. We had nothing and had been perishing by the sword and famine. So they admitted that even though they're worshiping an idol, they're starving in their land. They're starving. They still continue to worship this idol, even though they know this idol cannot do nothing for them. The woman added, "When we burn incense to the Queen of Heaven," and the woman added, we poured out drink offerings to her. "Did not our husbands know that we were making cakes like her image and pouring out drink offerings to her?" Then Jeremiah said to all the people, both men and women, who were answering him, Did not the Lord remember and think about the incense burned in the towns of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem by you and your fathers, your kings and your officials, and the people of the land, when the Lord can no longer endure your wicked actions and the detestable things you did? Your land became an object of cursing and desolate waste without inhabitants, as it is today, because you have burned incense and have sinned against the Lord, and have not obeyed Him, or followed His law, or His decrees, or His stipulations. This disaster has come upon you, as you now see. Then Jeremiah said to all the people, including the women, Hear the word of the Lord, all you people of Judah and Egypt. This is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says. You and your wives who have shown by your actions what you have promised, when you said, We will certainly carry out the vows we made to burn incense and pour out drink offerings to the Queen of Heaven. Now, we have a new idol here. This Queen of Heaven is something new. We read about Baal, we read about Moloch, another demon god. We read about, the golden calf. Now we got the Queen of Heaven. Who is this Queen of Heaven thing? Well, if you do a little research on mythology, there's this demon queen Krishna in the Indian belief. They believe that Krishna, it could be the Queen of Heaven. She's got all these arms. So this is what they're worshiping. They're worshiping another Krishna in the in the Bible here. Krishna is a Hindu Indian god. See, the Indians, besides American Indian, I'm talking about Indians, they have a lot of different gods that they worship. There's Vishnu. There's Vishnu is a god of wrath. So there's also Buddha. Buddha's Indian as well. So he's the Indian prince. People worship Buddha like he's God or something. He's not God, okay? He's a philosopher. So stop burning incense to him. You're actually inviting demons when you're worshiping one of these idols. You're actually inviting demon spirits into the realm of earth. That's like a Ouija board. That's what you're doing, really. I'm gonna end this session. We have another session coming up here because we have a lot. 8 or 9 more verses to go here. So I'm gonna take a break here, and I will finish later on here in a minute. Thank you.